You're trapped inside a small cell. 29 of you are piled in like sardines, sleeping side by side on mats on the floor. You can barely move. Your family hasn't called you for 2 years, and they stopped visiting 6 years ago. Your son doesn't even know you're here. All because of one mistake. One pressurized mistake. How could you be so stupid? What were you thinking? All you wanted to do was provide for your family, buy your children new shoes, put good food on the table, and keep them in school. Now you're useless. You're stuck. Stuck in Kurobakan prison. I wish I could say that I hadn't heard this story before, but for many women in Kurobakan, this is the reality. Not only do they have to endure the tortures of incarceration in a third world country, the shame that follows them is so much worse. They're shunned, kicked out from society, from their own families. Even once they've done their time, the stigma surrounding these women means that they have no chance. There's no support network or a steady income, causing the cycle to continue. Desperation, mistake, consequence. These women, they are more than the crimes that they have committed. They may be drug traffickers, money launderers, continuous bank frauds, human traffickers, but they're also mothers, daughters, sisters, aunties, friends, all individual women who have a story to tell. But due to the situation that they're in, their identities must be protected. So throughout this presentation, I'll be referring to them as flowers. As just like flowers, these women have been able to grow in the most unthinkable conditions. They are the beauty in between all of the ugliness. So, how did a 17-year-old girl become involved with an Indonesian prison? Well, it all started with a story. This was the story of Orchid, the mother and my inspiration, always seated next to me as we chat away about everything, guiding me through the ups and downs, helping make decisions, and standing by my side. All of this wouldn't have been possible without her. She's a wife and mother to 4 children, the eldest already married and living in New York, something that seems so distant to her mother's reality. Serving a life sentence for drug trafficking, having spent already 15 years inside Kurobakan, she's seen it all. From when the men and women shared a compound to the drastic change of prison in COVID times. Originally from the Philippines, having lived in a small-knit community where her mother lived so close that her daughter would run to her grandma's house after school to fill up on Hello Hello and then sneak home, face glowing and tummy filled. She was always there for her children, from packing up their lunch boxes to tucking them in at bed at night and looking under the bed for scary monsters. Always putting on a brave face, concealing the fact that they were struggling, forever wanting her children to have everything they could ever need. She would always find different ways to provide for her family, whether it be making peanut butter or buying bulk bags of sugar, which she would then distribute into smaller bags and sell. But it wasn't enough. She couldn't keep up. The weight of providing for her family had begun to crush her, so when she was offered a way to lighten this load, she took it. Now, I want to take a moment, a pause in this story, to ask the mothers in the audience, what would you do? Your child asked for a snack, but you already know that the cupboard is bare. You still check and hope, but nothing is ever there. Your child has outgrown their shoes, their toes bruised from the tightness. There's no money for a new pair, so a pair of yours 3 sizes too big is all that you can get. Your child is having a hard time at school, bullied for the holes in their shorts and their second-hand clothes. You spend all night stitching the holes, hiding your pain with each thread. Wouldn't you take the opportunity to save your family? You would do anything for your children, wouldn't you? Mum, would you do this for me? And just like all of you, Orchid's maternal instinct kicked in. And when she was assured that she'd be protected if anything would happen, and the $2,000 being just in reach, she took that risk, not realizing the consequences that would happen if it all went wrong. Orchid's story of desperation, mistake, and consequence inspired me to serve Inti. As enough was enough. These women didn't just deserve a second chance, they deserved a chance in the first place. So by combining my passion for fashion and the need for awareness surrounding women in prison, I set out to use my creativity to empower others. This is Inti, a socially sustainable slow fashion brand which collaborates with the female prisoners of Kurobakan prison by teaching them embroidery and then selling their products. All of the proceeds go back to them and their families, and their individual stories are shared alongside the sales to raise awareness about the stigma surrounding women in prison. But it's more than all of that. Inti is a community of those that deserve to be heard, no matter who they are, where they've come from, or what mistakes they've made. Inti is the truths of those who have been silenced. The name Inti comes from the Indonesian word for core. As to me, the women of my project are the core of everything, from my inspiration to the community that will be directly benefiting from this project. Inti is also the sun god in Inca religion, representing light and strength, which is why I've chosen it to be my logo. As you can see, I had the vision, I had the logo, I had the ethos of the brand, but no hands yet to bring my creations to life. So I started forming connections, meeting with Orchid and then reaching out to the prison with an interest in starting up a project. After multiple meetings with the head of creatives at El Pepe Kurobakan, made possible with the constant help of Orchid, my project was approved and will begin on the 9th of October, 2024. Word spread fast around the prison about this new project, and I instantly had 10 women eager with needles at the ready. This is when disaster struck. After being told that these women knew how to embroider, my expectations and plans for the project had skyrocketed. But when I got those fast samples back, I realized that this was false news. So I pivoted. I spent the first 2 months teaching myself and then the women how to embroider. The first lesson was terrifying. There were no barriers, nothing. Just me and the 10 women sitting side by side on a carpet in a tiny classroom. There was also a visitor room, kitchen, and hair salon. It went amazingly. They were so open and happy to chat as I taught them different stitches, and we worked on a simple flower pattern I had prepared. Fast forward. Fast forward to 9 months on, and I've spent every Thursday morning for 2 hours in prison continuing to teach these women as they came back every week with so much energy. Despite the fact that there were no fans, no space, no quiet. Children ran around screaming. Inmates shoved past us. A hairdryer was whooshing, a sewing machine whirling, and even someone baking next to us. I watched as our work just became better and better. A community began to emerge. Our laughter and constant chattering filled the prison like a chorus of repeating parrots. I began forming connections, getting to know their individual personalities and learning their stories. Hearing about their pasts, life in prison, and their families has been so deeply interesting and eye-opening. After this training period, it was finally time to begin. Some women had picked it up faster than others, so they began creating the headscarves, while the others started embroidering napkins. Each design is hand-drawn by me and then hand-embroidered by the women. The headscarves take around 2 weeks to make, and the napkins can take up to 4 hours. The designs feature flowers, which represent each individual woman that created it. A flower is chosen for each woman based on their overall energy and personality. They're all unique, as the women have complete creative control over the colours and how to present the flowers. As their work continued to flourish, so did the project, and we introduced shorts into our bespoke collection, with the pattern now featuring all of the 10 flowers to represent the community that we had become. While they've been busy embroidering, I designed and set up my own website as a platform to share their stories on. On the website, you can find 6 of the women's stories. This is because out of the 10 women, there are some that are so open to sharing their stories, speeding through sentences, not being able to get their words out fast enough, as they told me wild tales of cooking with orangutans in the deepest, densest jungles of Borneo, or happily ever after down the rivers of Cambodia with their husbands. But there are some that are too afraid to even share the story behind the label given to them. Their stories are locked up, hidden away by their own shame, guilt, and regret. Respecting their silence, giving them a needle and thread to heal without words. And stitch by stitch, their creations, once a hushed story, were ready to be heard. So on Spirit Friday, here, Inti went into full bloom. The energy was electric, and I felt an immense sense of pride as I displayed their creations, unfolded in fabric and thread. By the end, I completely sold out and had pre-orders pouring in for both the shorts and headscarves, something that seemed like a distant dream when this whole journey began. Now, a few months on, you can find Inti in Bamboo Inda's hotel boutique and Created Indonesia store. But no matter how far it grows, Inti's roots are dug deep into the women of Kerobokan prison, connecting them all through this newfound skill of the needle and thread. A skill that they can have forever, tucked into their back pocket as an option to never end up back where they fear. A legacy which lives through the stories of these women and the connections they've made with not only the other 10 and I, but with all of you, who have opened up your ears and truly listened. So when you ask what comes next, I can only tell you the truth, which is, I don't know. Inti will continue to spread like the branches of a mighty oak, changing the minds of those when they think of the women locked up, trapped and suffering from their own mistakes. I've seen how prison changes people. Prison has changed me. It's made me more confident, more trusting, more understanding. For the first time, I can truly say that I've become someone that I want to be. No longer a scared little girl terrified to ask for the bill or do anything alone. I've grown into someone who's independent and strong, using my voice to share the stories of those trapped, buried by one mistake and concrete. Right? Throughout this journey, I've met so many incredible people. Stories that have ripped my heart out and others that have put it back in. The true kindness these people have shown me, even when they have absolutely nothing, has always made me come back. These women are just people, desperate people, who thought that they only had one choice, one way out, whose lives have been further destroyed by the label society has given them. So I want to ask you one final question. What would you do? Thank you. I'd like to thank all of those who have supported me throughout my journey. Pipe Benjamin, Ibu Kate, Ibu Jess, Pipe Brian, the Project Bank team, Bamboo Inda, Created Indonesia, my mentor Luli, my mum, and most importantly, the women of Kurobakam Prison, who've opened up their hearts, trusted me with their stories, and made my dream a reality. I'd also like to thank all of you who have come and listened to my talk today. If you'd like to hear more stories, please scan the QR code and visit our Instagram. I'll also be selling the shorts and headscarves in the break. Thank you so much.